Why put off kicking someone's ass next week when we could do it right now? And we're looking at you, AEW Fan Hub. Quote The Undertaker circa 2003. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the return of the aptly named and awfully hosted Exploding Barbed Wire Deathcast, brought to you by the Cheap Heat Champions. And so, what's the catch? Let's get started. We had some interesting debuts, cross promotional stuff in over like the past week in TNA. We had the former Dolph Ziggler, now Nick Nemeth, stake his claim for the new TNA World Championship after attacking the new champion Moose. Now, in spite of him ripping off his shirt and revealing a TNA shirt, there's no confirmation that he's actually signed a contract with TNA, though I do expect to hear that soon. On the other side of the states at New Japan Battle for the Valley, we had the return of AEW's Jack Barry. Storming the ring after the events of the main event, Jack brandished what appeared to be an AEW contract, tearing it in half, seemingly alluding to his departure from the company. Now, we all know that's not how contracts work, being that he's still under Tony Khan's employ till 2027, but I am curious as to how this could potentially lead to his return to that promotion. I also want to note Matt Riddle called out Hiroshi Tanahashi and wrestled with Jeff Cobb at Battle in the Valley versus Team MDK. We're not going to cover that today. We're going to stick with the top two. Rollins, what's going on with all this stuff?
Well, don't forget about Mustafa Ali, because he also made a debut in New Japan, I believe.
Didn't he also call out Tanahashi?
He called out Hiromu Takahashi.
Takahashi, okay.
Yes.
Wrong Hashi.
No, I didn't want Mustafa Ali to be left out of the mix. But in terms of Nick Nemeth, once he does sign with TNA, I like the fit there. I just don't like that he's going right after the World Championship and he's going to take the title from Moose, presumably. Like, Moose just won the World Championship at Hard to Kill. Give him a good title reign and then have Nick Nemeth take the title. Like, you don't want your World Championship to be like a ping pong where it just goes all over the place.
Don't you want that exact thing with the AEW World Championship with Joe?
That's different.
No, well, it's the exact same thing.
No, it's not.
I do actually want to put this on Dreezy before you, C-Boss, because he made a very poignant point in our Discord chat logs earlier in the week. It seems like a lot of times when they're they're introducing new talent into TNA or Impact at the time, that it all goes the same way. Short-term contracts, they run them directly at the World Championship, they hold it, and then drop themselves about a year later when they're done and head off to greener pastures. Like, what's the issue with that, Dreezy?
In my opinion, TNA has a history of this, like going all the way back to guys like Mr. Kennedy / Henderson. They would all come to remember RVD? Didn't he like just run in and pin Sting on his debut and win the belt? Am I misremembering that?
I believe so, yes.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
I remember watching that.
So it's like every time there's an ex-WWE guy in TNA, they show up, they attack the top guy or girl, they take the belt, they hold it for 6 months or whatever, and then they leave to whatever is better, either Japan back in the day, or now AEW is an option, or even back to WWE in case they change their mind. And I think that just devalues the company TNA. It's almost like they have no pride in what they're building. I don't know. Maybe I don't really have the right words to express it. I don't want to bash TNA for it because I totally get it. Because like in regular sports, if I sign the hottest free agent, I want him on my starting lineup. I want him to score the most points if that's his role. And I think that's what they want to do. But at the same time, they really need to like kind of fix that reputation. TNA should be a place where people go and don't treat it like I don't know, like a side chick after a breakup. It needs more respect. And
you described it like two things. You described it like the prison yard, like, Nemeth shows up, slides into the ring, and attacks the biggest guy in the yard. But then you also kind of described it as a transitional company. It's more like these guys are assigning people to put eyes on their product without investing into their locker room long term. That's a problem.
Yeah, TNA is
absolutely.
it's like a rebound company. It's like, okay, I got fired. Okay, I'll go here. I'll collect a couple paychecks, and then hopefully someone else bigger and better notices me. So yeah, it's kind of like disrespectful, I think, to the company itself.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
C-Boss, I'll come to you on this one. It's almost like, we have the NBA, the Cleveland Charge here in Cleveland, obviously, affiliate of the Cleveland Cavaliers. It's kind of like that, where the Cavs are WWE or AEW, whichever one, and TNA is the Charge. Like,
Or the G League in general.
yes. Is
No,
that a fair assessment?
I definitely agree with that. And something I want to say is Nick Nemeth wasn't the only ex WWE debut at Hard to Kill. Ash by Elegance, former Dana Brooke. Fuck is that name? It's dumb.
Abe.
Yeah.
Abe.
Abe.
She's now an Oddworld character. She's facing her
she's the-
exodus to the mid card.
Yeah.
Abe's Odyssey.
She debuted as well. We'll see what they do with her now that is it Jordan or Jordine? Jordine Grace is the new TNA Knockouts World Champion.
And that's most likely because Trinity is going to show up at the Royal Rumble, if I had to guess.
Yeah, I knew she was going back to WWE as soon as I saw that she was dropping the belt. I was like, yeah, she's going back to the Fed. That's fine.
I do think, let me just say this super quick. I like that Mustafa Ali is running this whole like presidential campaign character.
Yeah, the whole World Tour 2024 type shit.
Yes.
Happens
right.
every 4 years. Somebody's doing the gimmick every 4 years.
Right. I know
Oh my
it's not
God.
the same it's not the same thing, but I remember when MJF first challenged for the AEW World Championship against Jon Moxley at All Out, he was using that same gimmick of like a presidential campaign and stuff.
Because that was also election year.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
2020.
I'm just fortunate that no one's thrown out those "Make Pro Wrestling Great Again."
Oh,
Make
God.
Darren Young great again.
Well, let's pivot. What about Jack Perry, guy? Well, what about Jungle Boy? Really,
it's Jack Perry, damn it!
Man, it's like
It's
playing the lottery and winning every time with this guy. So Jack Perry, it's like it makes more sense. It alludes to the continued partnership with AEW and New Japan Wrestling. I think this is a good way to reintroduce him back to AEW programming. I think it's probable to see him do a little tour of Japan, makes him relevant, and again over there, then it gives him some buying power and coming back during Forbidden Door. That's my opinion. I'd love to see it happen. They redeveloped a lot of. That's how Jon Moxley, in between WWE and AEW, kind of redeveloped what he was doing after he was done being Dean Ambrose. What do you do?
Same with Jericho too.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Painmaker.
It does make sense for him to re-debut at Forbidden Door because, and C-Boss, you will remember this specifically.
Oh yeah, that's a returned heel, and
yes,
I remember because like Rollins was waiting for it. He's like, he's gonna turn heel, and then they cut away from him, and me and my friends started laughing at him, and then they come back and he attacks Hogan. We're like, oh shit!
And I returned fire, and I'm like, I told you. So as such, it would be fitting for him to return at Forbidden Door, given those past events.
Yeah, I could see it. I love that he showed up at New Japan because I was saying it for a while that Jungle Boy needs a reinvention of his character, and the best place to reinvent yourself is New Japan. We've seen it with so many people. Moxley, like you said, Jericho,
Cody Rhodes.
Cody Rhodes. Yeah, that was what.
Sorry, I had some bullshit in my throat.
Is it a neck tattoo again?
Not
What
yet.
about even someone like Lance Archer going back?
Lance
yeah.
Archer's doing better for himself in New Japan than he has ever done in AEW.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying he was in WWE and he was pretty much a jabroni for a year,
Wait,
and
he
then
was in WWE?
yeah, in
Yeah.
2010, I think. His name was Vance Archer, and before that, he was in TNA as Lance Hoyt. But
I remember Lance Hoyt. I don't remember Vance Archer.
yeah, he was in WWE and he did not have any success there. Then he went to Japan and became a lot more known.
Oh, the Good Brothers too.
Yeah.
So
Luke Gallows. Well,
didn't-
I credit Luke Gallows' reinvention to the Straight
Dot-
Edge Society.
oh my God. Oh my
'Cause
God.
before
Serena,
that,
bring
Not
before
back
that,
Festus?
bring
before
back
that, he
Paul
was
Ser-
Festus.
Yeah.
Jesse and Festus, one of
Yeah.
the by far one of the dumbest things ever.
And
Okay.
before that, he was the fake Kane.
Wait a minute,
Oh, he
C-Boss.
was.
Wait, C-Boss. Do you remember when Survivor Series was NXT versus SmackDown versus Raw?
Yeah, 2019. That was the last Survivor Series I watched before this year.
Okay,
Before
so the reason
2023.
so the reason I'm asking you about that is why don't we turn not Survivor Series, excuse me, Forbidden Door, maybe not into the same kind of event as Survivor Series, but you could do New Japan versus AEW versus TNA Impact. You could
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Something
like
I'd
that.
love to
Triple
see
threat.
that. I
Yeah,
would
triple
absolutely
threats.
love that.
Why
The-
not?
The interesting thing is all three of these companies already have a very good working relationship with one
Mhm.
another. I'm not going to discount TNA's absence from AEW television in the past 8 months as indicative of them no longer being in bed together. There's no way that some of these guys have crossed over, and Tony Khan still doesn't have handshake agreements with these guys. I mean, the only outlier here is them being under Endeavor's banner for streaming, but even then, it's not like Endeavor could tell them what they put on their product.
Right.
Right. So,
One thing I
mean-
want to say about Jungle Boy. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Rollins.
I mean, we have seen AEW and when it was called Impact partner in the past, like, that's how Kenny Omega became the Impact World Champion.
And then later Christian Cage.
Right. But like Kenny Omega went into the Impact Zone and faced, I believe it was Rich Swann at a Impact pay-per-view for the Impact World Championship. And we've seen the Good Brothers when they were the Impact World Tag Team Champions. They were very much a part of the Elite when Kenny Omega was the World Champion and you had everything with the Young Bucks and stuff. So,
And also, Motor City Machine Guns showed up at AEW All Out 2022 to team with their friend Jay Lethal against Wardlow and FTR
correct.
in a match that it was. Let's be real here. It was a comedy match.
Most
Because-
matches with Jay Lethal and his group are comedy matches. Yeah,
Not
Which
anymore.
is kind of depressing because Jay Lethal is such a good, phenomenal technical wrestler.
think about this for a second. If AJ Styles were to go back to TNA Impact, we could see him in an AEW ring possibly.
Oh my God,
wouldn't
that's
that
the
be great?
biggest. Well, speaking of
AJ
guys,
versus Kenny, please again.
Yeah,
Yes,
I've seen it in New Japan, but I want it in AEW.
but Andre, you were going to say something. Go ahead.
I was just gonna give my 2 cents about Jungle Boy. It was pretty unexpected for me personally that he appeared in New Japan, but I think it's pretty cool because his reputation is kind of tarnished right now, and whether he deserves it or not could be debated. But the fact that he's going to New Japan is a good way to reinvent himself and kind of earn the respect of the fans and maybe some of his peers back. So I think it's a good fit if he's there for a few months.
He's gonna come out of this a jungle man.
it's Jack Perry, goddammit.
Yes.
Well,
I
shifting
call him
gears,
Hack Perry.
shifting gears to WWE, we had a string of top big top talent injuries. We had Giovanni Vinci, we had Cora Jade at a dark show, Austin Theory's on concussion protocol with a potential neck injury as well from that Raw botch heard across the world. And now Seth Rollins is entering care for what could be a knee injury that will undoubtedly put him out until after WrestleMania. Lots of big implications in the latter. I do want to discuss Seth Rollins more than the other three, being that he is at the top of the WWE card. You know, God, guys, no Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. That's like striking a headliner right off of night one. And you gotta imagine that CM Punk is at home punching holes in walls and kicking his dog around his apartment. All that time
So
spent
CM Punk
trying.
is injured too now. Then
Oh my
No.
Yeah.
god. Don't a man could dream. Yeah, I
Poor
mean, like,
Larry.
yeah, really the implications here are more in line with Seth and his future with WWE. His contract is up with this year. WrestleMania is 2 or 3 months away, 2 months away. And you know, he's a 6-month injury. What are they going to do with the world championship belt? They going to vacate? They going to pass it off? Are we going to have a tournament? Are they going to put Seth or are they going to put Punk and Punk versus Cody? That I was about to say. I would guess that it would be Punk versus Cody at WrestleMania, and who would be a more inviting champion? I would go with Cody, you know, and Punk would get his, finally get his
Main
headline,
event.
main event at WrestleMania, and then maybe he goes away for a while. I guess we could see what happens. You know, this is all pending an MRI that went down this afternoon. I'm sure we'll hear more about this in the wrestling news tomorrow. Rollins, what do you got?
So I want to focus more on Cora Jade, because from what I had seen of her on NXT since making her return, she was looking really good, and my guess is she was going to be the one to take the NXT Women's Championship off of Lyra Valkyria. Now, this is where a little bit of my fantasy booking comes in. Not that she would have won it, but I would have loved to have seen Cora Jade in the Royal Rumble, because you know that every year WWE, especially in the Women's Royal Rumble, they like to bring up NXT talent from, especially in the women's division. We've seen it. C-Boss, you mentioned it. Roxanne Perez was the NXT Women's Champion.
And she showed up in the Royal Rumble, and she did a fantastic job. She was like, she got a big pop from that from the main event crowd, or main roster crowd.
Bingo. So, and that's why I'm so sad about Cora, because I think she would have done great in the Royal Rumble, and I think it would have only been a matter of time before she got called up to the main roster. Not necessarily have a match at WrestleMania, but you could give her, there's some good like mid-card talent that you could have her feud with, and you could build her up. So I'm really disappointed to hear this news about Cora.
Going back to Seth, one way you could book, or one way WWE could book around this is, and I don't like saying this because Seth is going to be out for a while.
I mean, if his injury is what they think it is, yes.
If his injury is what it is.
Wolf doesn't think the injury is legit.
Oh my God! Injuries.
They could have Damian Priest cash in and win the World Heavyweight Championship, so at least we do have a World Heavyweight Champion on Raw.
It looked like Damian Priest was going to cash in last night when Rollins was facing Jinder Mahal, but then Drew McIntyre came in. Somehow Drew McIntyre must have had Spidey sense or something and just beat the crap out of Damian Priest. So,
well, someone's got to do it because Sami Zayn's off TV.
Yes, so we are getting a match next week on Raw between Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest.
Is the Money in the Bank contract on the line?
Not that I am aware of.
Dang. Because I love it when they do that. When they just have a match like, oh yeah, I'm just going to put my Money in the Bank contract on the line. Loses. Oh, I shouldn't have done that.
I mean, that's what happened with The Miz and Otis.
That's what happened with
the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, and Jericho. We'll get to that later.
Who won that? Who was Mr. Money in the Bank? And I know it was
Mr. Kennedy lost his Money in the Bank, but that was a long time ago.
Yeah, Mr. Kennedy, but Baron Corbin lost
Oh,
his
yeah,
Money in
that's
the
right.
Bank. I don't remember.
Poor-
I don't remember to who, but he did lose it.
Yeah, poor Baron Corbin. I honestly love Baron Corbin, but he's been reduced so far down to the mid card that now he's an Instagram chef.
He's so far in the mid card. He's somehow a main eventer in NXT.
Oh
NXT
God.
Baron Corbin, the lone wolf gimmick. Shout out to
Oh,
Wolf.
yeah, Lone Wolf
What's
gimmick.
up, Wolf?
He even had that taken from him because that was Damian Priest gimmick in NXT.
The original Lone Wolf was AJ Styles and TNA.
Yep.
Yeah.
He also had a Lionheart gimmick, which was
no,
Jericho had it first.
Yeah, Jericho did have it first. And Andre, you got any thoughts about Mania and Seth Rollins?
Yeah, I think WWE they need to make a performance center and just train their guys
They
because
do have a performance center.
they're just hiring all these indie spot monkeys who don't know how to work, and they're just always getting injured, broken necks, broken legs. Now they sabotage their main event at WrestleMania because their champion is injured, and at this rate, they're just gonna go out of business, I think.
Yeah,
Shut up,
I would give it like 5 years, maybe.
That was the
Daddy Vince is gonna run out of money.
That's the trolliest comment I've ever heard. Oh, wait a minute,
I'm
you were
so-
talking about AEW.
No, that's what people say about AEW all the
I
time, and it
know.
really annoys the crap out of me, especially when this happens. But in all seriousness, it really sucks that people get injured. But like we've discussed before, it's the name of the game. People get hurt,
Sure.
and hopefully they get good doctors. And as far as the booking goes, I don't really keep up with WWE, but in my mind, what I was thinking is they could do Rock versus Roman for no title, which probably not going to happen. I was hoping that Randy would win the 4-way match coming up so that he could face Cody for that title, and then Punk and Seth for their title. But now I think maybe Cody can finally get his championship opportunity. I don't know how they would transfer the belt over from Seth. Would he give it up, or maybe like you said, he would come out injured for the match and quickly get cashed in on by Priest. That seems like it depends on the severity of his injury.
Cody versus Damian Priest. That would be a rematch from
Crown
Jewel.
Which was Shenanigans Central.
Of course
So
it was.
I don't think CM Punk needs to be in a championship match. He could fight Drew maybe because they have beef. So they could.
Although the thing is, like, the whole reason for bringing Punk back is most likely to give him that Mania main event that he never got.
That had to be the incentive to. I'll put money on him winning the Rumble, and I'll put money on that being the incentive to bring him back. I think that would probably won't be, other than the cool $1 million that he got just for walking in the door in the first place. Yeah,
I do believe like the two main incentives on why he put pen to paper and said, you know what, screw it, I'm crazy enough to come back, and I'm crazy enough to spout your rhetoric. Royal Rumble win. Mania main event. Against who? Does it really matter? Does he win?
Well, it has to be against Roman for it to be a true main event.
Yeah.
It has to be night 2.
I mean, Punk versus Roman. Would anyone hate that?
Yes.
Yes.
I wouldn't. I hate Roman, but Punk can give Roman a good match for once.
Oh, two injured guys wrestling. That sounds like a great final event at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Permanently injured guys. That
One
sounds like
guy
really,
that
really good.
like never shows up on SmackDown, and another guy that I despise. Yep, sounds like a match I would love to watch.
I'm gonna say this.
The other option for you, Rollins, is Cody versus Roman. And you hate Cody too.
But I have legitimate reasons for hating Cody.
So then why do you hate Punk?
Because he's a stuck-up, precious little bitch.
There we go. Well, I
mean, that's any wrestler.
He takes it to another level.
So the Bucks.
But the Bucks are a different conversation. That's mired in politics and something that we're going to discuss later. I mean, I'm going to reiterate this every time that Roman gets brought up in terms of his current competency. You can't take shots at the guy now because he's still recovering from the leukemia that almost took him out of professional wrestling. People don't just ever heal from that. You cut the guy some slack, man. He's still the face of WWE. Whether you love him or not, the guy is still up there trying to perform for his fans. They're continuing to push him because he has that type of star power. I mean, I'm sure he'd still be executing at a higher level had he not been stricken down by illness. Now in terms of Punk, fuck Punk. He's an injured baby with $1 million in his back pocket that feels like he's invincible. I would not reward an angry toddler at WrestleMania event. I wouldn't do that. It's like handing a kid. It's like winning Charlie in the Chocolate Factory without having to go through all the fucking trials. Here you have it, and that's what it is. To me, the dude, in spite of everything, is still a complete hypocrite. I do not believe that he's Punk stripped the name. He's just CM nothing.
How about CM Punk versus Jinder Mahal in the opener of night 1?
Yeah. How about CM Punk versus Baron Corbin for the NXT World Title? Guys, let's switch gears. Let's get off of WWE, unless we're gonna keep talking about Seth's poor knee or Becky Lynch's future. We last week at Collision, we got a pre-recorded promo from Hook in the mean streets of New York, claiming that holding to what some at our channel consider to be the most important belt in AEW, the FTW Championship, just not being enough. He's gunning for the world champion Samoa Joe. With the streak that both Joe and Hook have been going on throughout this past year, how's this going to play out? To me, this has squash match written all over it, or at least, a convincing loss for Hook, which would give him his second loss in singles in AEW total. I don't know why they would think to throw him at Samoa Joe unless this, is building on a deeper storyline. But then you have Hangman and Swerve coming after Joe right now too.
And the Undisputed Kingdom.
And in a pro wrestling organization, all of the top guys should be gunning for the prize. So I have to the credit of Tony Khan, he's finally making his world championship look like more than a participation trophy. Props. It's been 3 years, but how is this all tying into what's going on in these stories? Rollins, what do you think?
They're not going to take the belt off of Samoa Joe yet. I know what you were saying earlier, C-Boss. I know, but Revolution is still a couple months away, so that would be different. But we'll get there later. Hook is the FTW champion, which is a belt that literally nobody cares about except for you, Sleazy. Shout out to you, buddy. By the way, how did your Steelers do? So, just saying. Anyway, he was giving it. Trust me, he was giving a shit.
I know he was giving a shit about the Browns, so we should be throwing it right back at him.
Yes, that is exactly what I'm doing. But my point, though, is
R.I.P.
Yes. I think this is going to be used as more of an angle rather than a legitimate match. They'll do the match. Samoa Joe will put him in the
Coquina
Clutch. Is it? I always
it's the Coquina Clutch because the Kira Fuda is
Shayna. Okay.
And then Red Rum is Hook's version.
Okay. Which Red Rum is not getting put on Samoa Joe.
He'll try it. Oh, he'll try it.
Yes. But I think Samoa Joe will choke him out, and then immediately we hear, whose house? Swerve's house.
I actually think Hangman's going to come out first, and then Swerve's going to interrupt him.
Okay. Either way, I think this match is going to be more of an angle to get to Swerve and Hangman once again confronting Samoa Joe. That's all I got.
Okay, my turn, I guess. I actually think a little bit differently about this match than you guys. I think that, Joe's going to win, but I don't think it's going to be a squash. I think it's going to be more competitive than people anticipate. And I suspect, I could be completely wrong, but I suspect that Joe and Taz, they go way back. They're good friends. And this might be a way for Joe to say, hey, let me work with your kid. Let me put the spotlight on him. And in that scenario, it kind of works for everybody because it elevates Hook, hopefully. I just think it's a world championship match, so it still gives some intrigue for TV ratings' sake. And yeah, I think it's gonna be good. I don't really think it's gonna lead to a storyline of any kind, not a major one. I think Hook is like in that Abaddon spot right now, where he just he's gonna challenge for the belt and then probably disappear for a couple of weeks. Yeah, that's what I think about it.
I think. Well, as much as I would love to see Hook run under Joe's wing, I think like the more compelling thing for him to do is to go to the Blackpool Combat Club, not Bullet Club Gold. Actually, that would be good, but Blackpool Combat Club would be. And that seems like it's where it's going with him and Wheeler Yuta. Hey, maybe Wheeler Yuta interrupts the match and costs Hook. He wasn't going to win in the first place, but Wheeler Yuta could get involved. He's still very much feuding with Hook.
What if Hook joined the Don Callis family?
No, Don Callis family shenanigans here. No.
Well, maybe not tomorrow, but eventually. I feel like that would be kind of interesting.
Do you think this match will be the main event of Dynamite tomorrow?
I think it will open the show.
Either opener or main event, because in AEW, usually the main event is the first match.
Yeah. Cody Sammy at Beach Break 2022.
Yes.
Seriously, anytime Orange Cassidy is defending his title, it always opens the show.
Yeah.
He's in that spot. He's good. People love Orange Cassidy. I don't see why people don't like him. He's the best international champion AEW's ever had. Second best. Sorry. Ray Phoenix is the best.
Yeah, I mean,
Lucha Bros for life.
We're leaving Pac out of that equation.
Yeah, I was gonna say, don't forget Pac. He's in the
No, he's not. He was never international champion. See, he was All Atlantic champion. That's a completely different title. It may look the same, but it's a completely different title altogether. Only held by one person.
Don't worry, Will Ospreay will come in and take that. But anyway,
yeah, There's no chance Will Ospreay signed with AEW should just toil without a belt for a while. He's the best pro wrestler in the world. He's gonna get a belt.
Yes.
It's not a participation trophy. It's
they might make another new one for him, but he will get a belt.
The AEW United Kingdom Championship.
Why
not?
But I would like to see Hook put up a legitimate fight in this match, because from what I've seen, Hook has a decent skill set, but
he's still green. That's the main issue, is that he's been wrestling in AEW for what, 3-4 years now, and he still feels like it's his first. It still feels like it's his first year, because most of his matches have been quick. I think the only two that didn't last 5 minutes were the match at All In versus Jack Perry, and the recent one at World's End against Wheeler Yuta.
And it feels like most of his matches now, for obvious reasons, I should say, are FTW rules, because it's usually somebody challenging him for the FTW championship. So,
yeah.
So I get why most of his matches are FTW rules, but at the same time, I'd like to see him in some regular matches too. And the other thing you just pointed this out, C-Boss, is when he's had a match at a pay-per-view, has he ever been on the actual main card? Or is it all?
I don't think so.
It's always been on the pre-show. Even when he teamed with Danhausen, was on the pre-show. I still have no.
Actually, at Wrestle Dream, he was on the 4-way tag match. He was
partnered with
Orange Cassidy.
Oh yeah,
yeah. He wasn't, but he wasn't defending the FTW title. So every time he was defending the FTW title, it's been on the pre-show.
Correct. So.
And usually the last match of
it's the main event of the pre-show.
Yeah,
right.
It's been it's literally the last 4 pay-per-views.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, Um, I, in terms of Hook and his skill set, yeah, dude, he's green as hell. As I had said, this looks like it has passing match written all over it. We could pivot to the next topic because that kind of ties into what we're discussing. And all hooks aside, we have another pair of men staking their claim for AEW gold. We have the one and only leader of the Mogul Embassy, Mr. Swerve Strickland, seemingly stepping up the challenge, while an enraged Hangman and an unhinged Adam Page is seemingly committed to preventing that from happening. Some think that Swerve dropping the belt off Samoa Joe at Revolution might be a bit too soon. I'd like to see the belt slap back on the hero of AEW, Hangman Adam Page. That is my opinion. A lot of people don't agree with that. Some disagree with both topics as mood. Some think that Samoa Joe should hold that thing into the unforeseeable future. Rollins, what's your opinion on all of this?
Swerve should win the belt at Revolution. Here's the thing. I don't want Samoa Joe to be viewed as a transitional champion. So, C-Boss, I understand your point. I really and truly do. But Samoa Joe is a big enough name that he doesn't need the belt for that long. He can hold it for, from World's End to Revolution, and he can still give you good matches as the world champion. We're getting the match on Wednesday against Hook. Maybe he has another world title match on the road to Revolution. So if he drops it to Swerve in this triple threat match that we seem to be building towards, I don't see the issue with that. And I'll admit, this is a little bit of my fandom coming out because I'm a huge Swerve Strickland fan. I am completely bought in on him now, and I'm not changing my theory. I fully believe that all those boss references we got a couple weeks ago were directly linked to the former Sasha Banks Mercedes Moné. Until I am proven wrong, I am not changing my theory on that.
See, you may be a Swerve Strickland fan, but were you a fan of him when he was NXT North American Champion Isaiah Swerve Scott? I was. I'm a huge Swerve fan. I'm a huge fan of Swerve. I would love to see him be world champion. I just don't think Revolution is the right time to do it. I think that this triple threat, with how much Hangman and Swerve hate each other, they're going to be too distracted beating the crap out of each other that they're going to forget that the Samoan submission machine is right there, has the belt, and is going to retain via the Coquina clutch to Hangman Adam Page. And then Swerve can say, oh, I wasn't the one who was pinned or submitted in that match. I still can get a shot at you, and I'm going to take it at Double or Nothing. And that's when you get the belt changing hands. I just feel like Revolution is extremely too soon. I get it. It's a 4-month period. January, February. Oh, it's only 3 months. That's even worse.
No, you can throw December in there because that's when he won the belt.
He only held it for
1
2
day.
days. For 1 day in December. That doesn't count.
I think that okay. I definitely think that Swerve should win at Revolution, and this is why. First of all, you guys are saying Joe would be a transitional champion, but what exactly is a transitional champion? Because in my opinion, a 2-month reign with a handful of defenses, that's not a transitional champion. A transitional champion is Macho Man Randy Savage winning a belt at a pay-per-view and then losing it the next night to Hogan on multiple occasions. That's a transitional champion.
Poor Randy, man. Hogan just wouldn't let him have a title reign. You got a title, brother. That's not gonna work for me.
Or another good example of transitional champion is when AJ Lee just put a title on the line against Paige.
I don't remember that situation.
I think it was, if I remember correctly, it was the night after WrestleMania. Paige made her debut, and AJ's like, I will put my title on the line.
Yeah, but how long did AJ Lee have the belt for?
I don't remember. I'd have to go back and look.
But
Well, anyways,
another
back to my point, because I wasn't finished. I'm sorry.
Oh.
I apologize.
You're fine. So I wouldn't consider a 2-month reign with multiple defenses as a transitional championship reign. Yeah, it's a short one, but it's not transitional. And I'm ready for some shorter championship reigns because I'm really tired of this year-long reigns. Because once we've crowned a new champion, you already know that for the next at least 6 months, he's going to defend it every time. And to me, that's not exciting. Going back to Swerve's feud with Hangman. Okay, he beat him at Wrestle Dream, which people thought it was going to be like 50-50, but okay, Swerve won. And we thought, okay, it's because he's from Seattle. He's definitely going to lose the next one. So then they have that street fight, and what happens?
Texas Death.
Hangman
Texas
wins, or Swerve wins again. And that's when people realized, okay, they're really strapping a rocket to Swerve. He's getting the push. And right now, I think he's as hot as he's going to be because you're only on top for so long. Eventually, you got to cool off, no matter who you are. And I think Swerve is not going to be boiling hot for a year. So I think that right now is the perfect time to give him the belt at Revolution. And in my idea is that he holds it until Wembley, where Hangman finally gets his win back, gets his belt back. But the reason why that will work is because Swerve, he is going to be a made man. So losing the belt and losing to Hangman is not going to ruin him because he's already a made man. So in my mind, that's the perfect booking. Right
but the thing is, so is Hangman. Hangman's already been world champion. He's
Yeah,
a made man as well. He
but-
doesn't. I mean, I guess
it's
does
a little
need the
different
win.
because the whole Punk situation has really it really ruined Hangman, in my opinion, both professionally and as a character. Hasn't really recovered as a top guy since then, and it's been a year or so. So he is kind of working his way back up.
Wolf does make an interesting point here. He says, shouldn't Swerve winning the world title be the closing moment of a pay-per-view? We know that's going to be Sting's moment at Revolution. Are you okay with Swerve holding the title as not the closing moment?
I think that's fine. He got the title. He doesn't need a closing moment at a pay-per-view. And I don't think that Sting's retirement should disqualify the world championship match as something that's important, I think they're both equally as important, and regardless of which moment closes the show, I think it's fine.
Yeah, my guess is Sting and Darby against the Young Bucks will main event Revolution. I mean, that's basically what they're building the Revolution off of. Kind of it almost feels similar to World's End, where they built that pay-per-view off of everything with the devil and all that.
MJF's world ending.
Right, exactly. Whereas with Revolution, they're building it around Sting's retirement match and all that. So, do I think Swerve winning the belt would take away from that? No. And I think it would still be a big moment, even if it's not the main event.
Yeah.
I definitely agree with that, but at the same time and at the same token, I do just feel like if it is going to be the triple, if it's just Swerve versus Joe straight up 1v1, Swerve will win. But if there is that element of triple threat, I feel like Hangman and Swerve are going to be too distracted with each other and they'll forget Joe, and that's when Joe wins. It's exactly the same thing as WrestleMania 39. Gunther, Drew, Sheamus. Drew and Sheamus were too distracted with beating up each other that they forgot about the ring general, and guess who ended up winning that triple threat? Gunther.
Yeah, you can also say it's kind of similar to WrestleMania 37, Roman versus Daniel Bryan versus Edge, because Roman ended up winning that match by stacking both of them.
Yeah, but like, was that a thing of Daniel Bryan and Edge were so distracted with beating each other up that they forgot Roman was there, or was it just, well, that match shouldn't even be considered a triple threat because Jey Uso was getting involved the whole time. It was practically a 2-on-1-on-1 handicap match.
Isn't that how most Roman Reigns matches are, though?
Yeah.
Another interesting point by Wolf, though. He says, we still don't know for sure what the world title match is going to be at Revolution. He's still thinking that Hangman beat Swerve in a qualifying match before the show.
Yeah, actually, I was gonna say I'm not entirely sold on the whole triple threat main event because we really don't really have a reason to believe that as of yet. Besides the fact that the three of them had a promo together, I think that Hangman is gonna get a shot at Joe on one of the Dynamites leading up to the pay-per-view, and that will be one of Joe's defenses, one of his like top quality defenses, and then Swerve will beat him one-on-one at Revolution. Fingers crossed.
Let me wait, Andre. On that note, let me ask you this: if they do that match, Joe versus Hangman, could you see a scenario where Swerve comes out and costs Hangman the match?
Yeah, I think that's possible because it will make it like Hangman got screwed, so that leaves some credibility for him. So
And
yeah,
that
that's possible.
Would that be a pathway to get to the triple threat match then?
Possibly, but I don't know. Could be. Yeah, we do need some more story to establish that it's a three-way.
It's certain based on the promos and stuff. And Hangman and Swerve both saying stuff about Samoa Joe. It just feels like we're heading to a triple threat.
And also the fact that they had a stare down during that same promo segment with Joe.
But you are right that we didn't get anything confirmed.
Yeah.
Well, the unfortunate thing here is that if it is headed towards a three-way, and it's more likely that Swerve goes over as, he could pin Hangman, and it will take any heat off of Joe for dropping that belt. Makes Joe a main contender, and he gets his revenge. He gets his re-challenge, his rematch.
Rematch.
Yeah,
Rematch,
he gets his first contender rematch, and then kick back to the back of the line if that's the case. Which, you guys were talking a little bit before about will this overshadow Sting, and the relevance of the Revolution pay-per-view, which in my opinion should be on Sting, where we could, pivot to the last subject for this evening, which is Sting and the Young Bucks. At the end of Dynamite last week, we had the reveal that Sting's final send-off will be against none other than the returning EVPs, the Young Bucks, following the union of Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega, and a loss of the contendership. Nick and Matt Jackson decided to take a step back from AEW programming to recharge and reassess their characters. Sources indicate a shift back to heel Bucks. The real question being, are these guys suitable candidates for Sting's big send-off? Now, everything that's been reported about Sting in the Bucks says that Sting picked the Bucks to be his final opponents. And the Bucks are still, to this day, one of the most talented tag teams on earth. Whether you love them or you hate them for who they are, they have certainly cemented their legacy as innovators in this business. And they are part of what brought AEW into fruition, and mostly part of some of the things that not only made it a great product, but also a shitty product. So my opinion, I do think this is a good set off. I don't think anyone else on the roster could carry Sting through a final match. And we all kind of theorized last year on the hub that he would need Darby because he hasn't worked a singles match in almost 7 or 8 years. So Rollins, what is your opinion on this one? I'd really like to hear what you think about this.
Yeah, so this is where Volkner and I were going to kind of go at it with each other, and also on the Swerve stuff. But I get the negativity towards the Bucks and all that, but you love to hate them. That's the way I look at it, because part of their gimmick or character, whatever word you want to use, is they tend to dress up like douchebags, we've had them in those outfits where they had like those beads hanging down in front of their faces, and last week when they came out to interrupt Sting, they looked like a couple of tourists from out of country or whatever.
All those mustaches. There's no redeeming those. I mean, coming from a guy that has a handlebar mustache, I'll tell him those guys look like they were on their ways to some throwback porns, man.
A little
I'm
off
sorry.
topic, Shane, but you got to dye your mustache like Scott Steiner.
Oh,
Oh my
definitely
God.
way. Sorry.
Gotta wear
Big,
the chainmail helmet and all that.
big Papa hate monger, right? I can't. I never
Gotta talk about that Steiner math.
Yeah,
But-
talk about that Steiner
Right.
bigotry. I can't get behind the Steiners. Those guys are fucking assholes. So
But still, like, my point is, like, that's part of their character, though, is to dress up like douchebags and act like, assholes at times, which they are fantastic at doing. It's why people loved it when the Lucha Brothers beat them in that steel cage match at All Out for the World Tag Team titles. Which that was one of the best steel cage tag team matches I've ever seen.
It's my favorite match in AEW.
Okay.
By far
Me
and
too.
away.
Me too.
When they had Brandon Cutler toss that bag with the shoe into the cage, and oh god, that spot where they
Yeah, and then Penta jumps in the way to protect his younger brother.
no, I'm talking
At that
about,
moment, I thought they were going to lose at that moment.
no, I'm talking about the moment where I forget if it was Nick Jackson or Matt Jackson. One of them has their legs sticking out, and they just jammed, I think it was Penta's face, right into the thumbtack.
Oh no, I thought you were talking about the initial super kick where it was going to Rey Fenix, but Penta
No.
jumped
know
in the
what-
way to save
But
his
you know
brother.
what spot I'm talking about, though.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, but
I remember that spot, and then I remember the Lucha Brothers reversed the shoe onto the Young Bucks.
right. But that's my overall point with the Young Bucks is you never know what you're gonna get with the Young Bucks. Heck, C-Boss, you and I were watching, I think it was Double or Nothing, and one of the Jacksons goes to the outside and drinks somebody's soda.
Yeah.
So-
that was against the Hardys, right?
I think
Or
so.
was that 2022 or 2023 Double or Nothing?
It was one of the two. But my overall point, though, is, and this is why I love the Young Bucks, is just because they're so creative with their matches. They live up to their personality. They embrace their characters. Do they run away at times when they shouldn't? Yes, I will admit that part. But at the same time, when they're in a match, you want to tune in. You want to watch and see what's Nick Jackson going to do? What's Matt Jackson going to do? So
They are the epitome. The Young Bucks with their creativity are the epitome.
Oh, no. I think CM Punk is hacking us.
try
Oh,
it.
time for mediation. C-Boss, run back what you were just saying.
The Young Bucks with their creativity in their matches is the epitome of Tony Storm's third motto: watch for the shoe.
Well, do you guys know about the curse of the missing Nike, right? Whenever one of the Bucks loses a Nike during a headliner match, they're guaranteed to lose, and it's literally been happening since PWG. They haven't had one match they've won where they've accidentally lost a shoe.
Remember the exploding shoe, the exploding super kick from the Anarchy in the Arena match?
Yes, but
That was
that's my overall point with the Young Bucks is, do they have their issues? Yes, but I still love that it's going to be them sending out Sting, because the Young Bucks, along with Kenny Omega and Cody Rhodes, were the founding members of AEW. Sting is a legend. He's been a big part of AEW. He came in during the pandemic era. So it feels almost like the new sending out the old.
Yeah, so you've got two EVPs, you've got an icon, and you have one of the four pillars.
Exactly.
You've got everything that makes AEW AEW.
Exactly my point.
I agree with Rollins about everything he said. I think Young Bucks are an excellent choice, probably the perfect choice, considering what they have on their roster. It's not from storyline perspective, it doesn't make sense, or at least not yet. But I'm sure they'll throw some story stuff in there to make me want to see the fight even more. Yeah, that Young Bucks, say what you want about them, but they're amazing performers. They don't ever half-ass their job. They do their job and they do it really, really well. And I think that they might give Sting one of the best matches of his entire career. And that's like look at Ric Flair's last match, and we're gonna compare that to Sting's last match.
Ric Flair and Andrade versus who is teaming with Jay Lethal in that match?
Ric Flair.
Oh no, Ric Flair was with Andrade.
Oh yeah, that's right. Jeff
It was
Jarrett.
again. Oh, it was Jay Lethal
Yeah.
and Jeff Jarrett. Okay.
Yeah,
Oh, so it was
but see that's
Slot
that's such an embarrassment, you know.
you couldn't even remember who was the opponent on the other side.
Shawn Michaels gave Ric Flair a
His
really
true
meaningful
last match.
retirement. Yeah.
Yeah.
That,
And
that moment of "I'm sorry, I love you."
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's what I think the
Cinema.
Bucks are going to give to Sting. And Darby, you know Darby, he's going to go crazy, especially to make that match even more exciting.
I agree with Wolf on this.
Yeah.
It definitely is a PR move to try and get the Bucks back in the fans' good graces.
Yeah.
Whether or not that works, remains to be seen.
It depends. I think it depends on like how set the fans are in their feelings towards the Young Bucks, because there could be fans on one side or the other. I don't want to get into which side are you on and all that, but if you're on the negative side, it could be that you dug your heels so far in that you're like, I don't care. I've already decided that I hate the Young Bucks, yada, yada, yada. Or it could be on the other side where you dug your heels in that I love the Young Bucks and
they're the greatest tag team ever and all that.
Right. And this match isn't going to change my mind about that. So I think it's, to kind of go off of what Wolf is saying, I think it's more trying to get those fans who are kind of in that middle ground where they're like, I kind of like the Young Bucks, but I'm kind of don't. So you kind of get what I'm saying?
Yeah. And another thing this does for the Bucks is it gives the fans someone to boo so that it gives them heat when they do eventually turn heel. When they do eventually, and I do believe this is going to happen, just to screw Kenny, they're going to join the Don Callis family.
And also I want to add, it gives the Bucks something to do, because we've talked about them before. Like, they're kind of spinning the wheels. They've already fought everybody. They've lost to everybody. They've beaten everybody. What is there for them to do? And I think this is kind of different. Retiring Sting is a goal that they've never really had before. So it gives them a couple months of doing something different.
And I'm also going to be curious, like, how they build the storyline. I get that the ultimate goal is Sting's retirement match. I understand that. And that's it. You can build a solid enough story on that. But if you can add still a little bit of substance to it, like get those middle ground fans more interested in it, rather than it just being like, oh, well, I want to retire and I chose you. Like,
I think they'll spice it up a little bit. I think they're going to probably attack Darby, which will make Sting want revenge. I'm really curious about who's going to win the match, because traditionally on your way out, you're supposed to put the next guy over, but Sting has a perfect record, and I'm curious if they're going to keep that perfect record.
I actually wanted you made a very good point, and one that I was going to make. It is in pro wrestling, the old pro wrestling tradition, to hang your boots on your last match to lose, to put over the guys that you're wrestling. Now, this would be a good way to transition the Bucks into a full-time heel position, which it seems like that's the direction they're already headed in. And you know what? Sting goes to the press conference. You know what? I did my best. We did the thing. This is one of the greatest runs of my life. Like, it's not like he's going to shame the company for, obviously losing a match once. I mean, he's taken down the Workhorsemen. They're headed towards beating the Don Callis family, which is going to put a lid on that for a second.
They even beat the Outrunners. That
Yeah,
was
they beat
really
them.
Yeah,
impressive.
they beat the Outrunners, one of the greatest tag teams ever.
No, the Outrunners are sweet. DTF.
I like the Outrunners. I've seen them live in a ROH taping. They got. No, it wasn't the Infantry and Willie Mack. Or was it the Infantry and Willie Mack? I don't remember.
Something like that. But no,
Sorry, Shane. I
on
think I
that,
cut you off.
No,
on
you're
that-
good.
okay. Just on that note, though, I get that you want Sting going in to his retirement match undefeated, but if you had given Konosuke Takeshita and Powerhouse Hobbs the win last week in that tornado tag match against Sting and Darby, I would not have been disappointed about that because I think it would have given more heat to the Don Callis family, kind of like what the rest of you were saying about the Young Bucks. You could have done the same thing for Konosuke Takeshita, Powerhouse Hobbs. And I don't think it would have hurt Sting really going into his retirement match.
Yeah, but that's why I'm curious if they're just gonna let Sting finish his whole AEW run perfect record, because the Bucks, I mean, if they lose, that's okay. They're not gonna mind. And the win, yeah, they could use that to become super dicks and heels, but they can also do that if they lose. So I'm just really curious about what's gonna happen.
Also, I do feel like the tradition of a legend going out on their out on a loss in the last match broke with the Undertaker, because he went out on a win. He beat AJ Styles at the Boneyard match at WrestleMania 36, I believe that was.
I think so. And let me just clarify something. I'm not saying it was the wrong move to have Powerhouse Hobbs and Takeshita lose last week. I'm just simply saying if they had won, I would not have been disappointed.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They want Sting to look like this, like for lacking a better comparison, this Resident Evil Nemesis character. Like he is almost completely unbeatable every time you knock him down. He's going to come back with he's going to get up with a new mutation and find ways
Joker Sting at All In.
Oh, that was so good.
Yeah, like
Uh,
and we're getting
It's
eras.
showtime.
Yeah, we're getting eras of Sting building up to Revolution. They've already alluded to that happening. We'll get Surfer Sting. We're gonna Surfer Sting. I wonder how they're gonna do that. I wonder how they're gonna do that come over. That's the only thing that's killing me right now. Poor guy. They're gonna bleach blonde his hair and give him a comb over. How the fuck is he?
are we gonna get main event Mafia Sting, or he just doesn't show up with face paint?
Oh God.
Oh, good lord.
Main Event Mafia Sting was sweet, but he only did the no face paint like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
We
Main
still need
Event
to see Wolfpack Sting.
Oh yeah, with the all red face paint.
Hell yeah. So it's Sting. That's the only part of it that's important to me. So
Yeah.
Tony Schiavone.
fun little story I want to share with you guys. Before we pivot over to the countdown. I know I haven't talked a lot today, but the Sting thing is really important to me. If over the weekend on Sunday, I went to my parents' house to help them move some furniture because my parents are getting on the older side. My dad just can't hack it the way that he used to, even though he's still a bad motherfucker. He's just not the bad motherfucker he used to be. You know what's plastered on the front of my parents' fridge? A picture of me when I was 10 years old with my 2 best friends growing up on Halloween. One of them is dressed up like a werewolf. The other one, it looks like the front man from a local metal band, and I was dressed up as NWO Sting with the mask and everything. So I was planning on going to Revolution this year. Unfortunately, with my new job, it wasn't in the cards, but I am going to be showing it at the house. Seeing Sting set off is a really big thing for me. I've been a pro wrestling fan my whole entire life, so it's going to be something to behold when we get to that point. Now, in terms of the Bucks, I do believe that this is the perfect team to put them over because in his age, they are going to protect him to the best of their abilities. We don't want to see Sting injured, get injured between here and there. He's going to try to drop one crazy spot on us before he goes. If he doesn't drop down from the rafters during his entrance to commemorate one of the most important moments of his entire career, his WCW return, the second one, not the first one.
When he debuted the Crow.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's huge. That was a landmark. That's the Sting that we see on stage now. That's the Sting that we see perform now.
of course.
So
That's the Sting we saw go into the WWE Hall of Fame.
that's yeah, that's also the Sting in some of Sting's most, memorable moments. That's the Sting that lifts off the Sting mask and Sting paint underneath it. The one that I'm always shit posting onto onto the
Yeah.
Discord. But this whole thing wraps around a whole generation of pro wrestling memories, not just for myself, but anyone that is a super fan person of Sting. Like Andre, you're on the same page as me with this one. Sting is one of your favorite guys as well. My Power Punch Sting is literally sitting less than a foot and a half away from me. It's always in my living room. So, it's going to be bittersweet to see him go. However it happens, I hope that they do it justice. I'm sure, knowing myself and the pure wrestling purist I can be, it's never going to be good enough. But,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's better to see him go out like a G than it is to see him just go out and fall out of obscurity. So anything that's going to happen is going to be better than nothing. We're very fortunate to be there. Before we move on to our final portion of the day, the countdown, do you gentlemen have anything else you'd like to expand on that topic?
The one thing I will say is I did like how Sting kept terrorizing Triple H leading up to their match at WrestleMania 31, I believe it was. And then
He should have won that match. Fuck
probably
Triple H. Fuck Triple H for that.
okay, but C-Boss, you have to admit the fact that we got the NWO during that match
And D-Generation X.
D-Generation X. I did like that we got both of those groups come out during that match, and
That was a disgrace.
Sting still should have won. Triple H literally pulled a Young Bucks and put himself over.
NWO running out to help Sting is just the most nonsensical thing I've ever seen in wrestling.
Should have been RoboCop. It should have been RoboCop.
Glacier.
You sound like
God.
Dolph Ziggler. It should have been me.
Well,
Hey,
no, like one of the most famous, randomest WCW segments is Sting was stuck in a shark cage or something, and who comes out to save him? Fucking RoboCop.
That's
That
just
happened.
cross promotion.
Yeah. So I do want to correct something that you just said, and then we're going to get into the 10 count. The Young Bucks have never written themselves into putting themselves over. They've taken just as many L's as they have W's in the past couple years. So I want to keep that in perspective. Triple H put belts on him on and off for 13 years straight and didn't care about how it affected storyline, continuity, the temperature in the locker rooms as soon as he got a hold over any form of creative. And really, honestly, he's a legacy, but shame on him for that. Shame on Vince for allowing it to happen. So, that being said, I didn't want to correct you. I just that's
Wait, then who was the EVP that like people were always complaining was putting themselves over?
Cody.
Oh, it was Cody.
But Cody also wrote into his own contract that he's never going to win the
Right.
AEW World Championship during this run in AEW. That was written into his contract. He never wanted to be the face of AEW, which is why he leaned so heavily into being a heel. Cody leaving was equal parts Cody being a bitch and the fans running him out. You got to call a spade when it's a spade. That's exactly what happened to Cody Rhodes. He went to greener pastures where he knew he was going to be the homelander. He's Cody Lander over there. It's true, because stop me when I'm telling lies, guys.
He wanted to be John Cena, and now he kind of is.
Yeah, he got that WrestleMania 28 once in a lifetime loss to an Anoa'i. He's going to get that, was it WrestleMania 29 twice in a lifetime title win.
We lost Rollins.
Oh, shit.
Oh, shit. Who's going to let him back in?
He's going to let himself back in.
Oh, my God. He better get back here pretty fast. So
Rollins, poor bastard.
I'll try to DM him, but let's not hang our laurels on a Rollins disappearance. He'll find a way to bust back into the cage door before this is all said and done with. And I hope he's not mad at me for running into a segment without him. We're gonna wrap this up with the count out. I wanted to expand on what I had alluded to when I shared the little personal story. Pro wrestling means something to everyone who's a pro wrestling fan, and I find ourselves lately, especially on the server, kind of divided on some things. Everyone is very strongly opinionated on the things that they love and care about in pro wrestling, but I always like to remind people that the tribalism isn't necessary. A lot of big talents in the past 2 weeks have come out and said it from all sides of the spectrum. We had Matt Cardona from the Indies rise up and say something. Sami Zayn has said something. We've had plenty of guys on the AEW side say it. Hiroshi Tanahashi said it during his induction speech as the president of New Japan Pro Wrestling. We all love the sport and the sports entertainment portion of what we're doing with professional wrestling. And fans love that, what they do. Just there's no reason to shame, talk down to, bastardize, or slander someone or a product just because it's not the product you choose to intake. Some people drink Bud Light, some people drink Corona, some people drink Miller Lite, and some people don't drink at all. Just be respectful of those decisions. And for fuck's sake, don't drag something through the dirt that you have zero understanding of. If you haven't put your eyes on a product, you don't deserve to have an opinion about it. Shut the fuck up. Seriously, just shut up.
100% agree.
Shut up. Shut up
Yeah.
and leave people alone. That's really what it boils down to.
Yeah,
Rollins' screen froze up. Hold on, he's who's gonna end the show? You have the end the show buttons.
the show never stops. The show must go on forever.
I would like to actually really, for my counter, I was gonna do the same thing. I was gonna talk about just how much we are in the biggest boom period in wrestling since at least the 90s. You've got WWE, AEW, TNA, New Japan. The indies are starting to rise. Wrestling is everywhere. Just enjoy the ride, people. You don't have to be such a negative Nancy about wrestling because it's not your wrestling. You can like your wrestling. Don't drag someone else for liking theirs.
I'm a little bit guilty for my little troll rant earlier, but you guys know that it's a joke. I was joking, and if you're a new viewer to us, I was joking. I am a very nice person. I don't like fighting, and I love certain wrestlers. I like others, and then those that I don't like, I just don't talk about. If I don't like, I live by the quote of, if you have nothing else nice to say, don't say anything at all. And I think that's very important to keep in mind, not just about wrestling, but everything. Like what you like, and if someone else likes something else, let them enjoy it. You don't have to shit on anyone's parade. Getting a little raspy, I'm sorry.
Hold on. So I was able to. Oh, I'm getting feedback here, double.
Well, our podcast is about to be like Cody's story. It's never going to be finished.
Yeah. Well, hold on. Let me.
Guys, I'm going to win the belt. No, you ain't.
We're going to call this the Cody Rhodes podcast from now on.
Jesus.
We're all gonna get matching neck tattoos.
Oh God. Do you guys?
On our foreheads?
No, that's Darby. That's not Cody.
Oh, okay.
So
I do want to thank everyone that came out this evening to view us. Always in the chat, Brent, Volkner, Wolf, and a couple other people that dug in, and of course our panel. I'm hearing a really bad echo right now.
Yeah, I'm hearing it too.
I just started hearing it. Our podcast is falling apart.
Yeah, so we're having some technical difficulties on the back end.
Let me try and mute and see if that fixes anything.
I don't think it's going to fix anything. We're going to just ride this out.
Okay.
So I want to thank our panel for joining us, Rollins, Dreezy, and C-Boss. The next time you hear us will be on Thursday. If you guys want to continue the conversation, join us on Discord. The description is in the link in the bio. Thank you very much for joining us. Everyone have a swell rest of the week. See you Thursday.
Have a nice day.